Welcome back, everybody. Today you're for a special treat. These are the best horror films from the year 2005. We're chugging along, and this, I believe, is one of the biggest collections of films ever released for the year 2005 in the horror genre. There's a massive amount of movies here. We're going to go through them all, and let me know what your favorite movies were for the year 2005. This is a fun series. Thank you for joining me. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and any questions, comments, or feedback, leave them below. Let's get started. We got a big list to go through. Let's start, all right? These are the best horror films of the year 2005. First up we have is 12 Days of Terror, made for TV movie. For 12 days in July 1916, a shark patrolled the waterways of northern New Jersey. This docudrama is based on Richard's account of those days. So this is from a true story, 12 Days of Terror. 2001 Maniacs. 8 college students traveling to Florida for spring break stumble into a remote town in Georgia where they are set upon by the residents. 2001 Maniacs. Satire, slasher, horror, and comedy. A Sound of Thunder. A single mistake in the past by a time travel company in the future has devastating and unforeseen consequences. I love time travel. I love time travel movies. A Sound of Thunder, you'll love it. Alien Abduction. After being abducted by extraterrestrials, Jean and her friends are committed to a top-secret government-run mental institution to undergo tests and be brainwashed. Alien Abduction. Horror, sci-fi, and thriller. Alien Express. A new super train is built when a meteorite crashes nearby, releasing a tiny creature. Once it kills and consumes everyone on board the train, it begins to grow and multiply into hordes of different creatures. Alien Express, made for TV. All Souls Day, Dia de los Muertos. During a Day of the Dead celebration, the dead come to life to prey upon the living. Horror, thriller, All Souls Day. This movie is good. It's a Mexican film. Right? Alone in the Dark. A detective of the paranormal slowly unravels mysterious events with deadly results. Alone in the Dark. Action, horror, and sci-fi. This is with Christian Slater. We love Christian Slater. We love him. The Amityville Horror. This is with Ryan Reynolds. Newlyweds are terrorized by demonic forces after moving into a large house that was the site of a grisly mass murder a year before. The Amityville Horror, 2005. You'll love this movie, and you'll love Ryan Reynolds. An American Haunting. An invisible entity haunts a 19th century family, and family secrets soon begin to surface. Supernatural horror, witch horror. An American Haunting. We love An American Haunting. Antarctic Journal. Strange things begin happening to an expedition deep in the Antarctic. Antarctic Journal. 2005 horror, mystery, and thriller. Next thing we have is Art of the Devil 2. A group of high school friends reunite after 2 years when one of their fathers committed suicide. They all spend the night at their friend's place. When darkness falls, strange things start to appear, and people start to die one by one. Attack of the Sabertooth. This is made for TV. As the owner of the revolutionary and state-of-the-art Balboa Park Niles, known as the Surefire Winner, the island is home to a genetic theme park where scientists are cloning animals. What could go wrong? Aunt Rose. A trio of ruthless killers seek refuge in a quiet suburban home, only to discover a destructive force that could spell their doom in this blood-drenched frightener from director James Tucker. Aunt Rose horror. So it must be a killer woman. Bad Reputation. A high school girl wrongly branded as the school slut embraces her bad reputation and takes revenge on the kids who have made her life a living hell. So she's not a slut, she's probably a virgin, but she's going to kill people. Beneath Still Waters. Two boys make a pact to do something brave, crazy, and dangerous. They will see their town one last time before a man-made lake floods it forever, burying it under deep lake, beneath still waters. Blood of the Chupacabras, a detective in search of a missing college student, is lured by a madman into the lair of the fabled Chupacabra monster, and he and several locals must face off against the legendary monster. Blood Trail. An evil spirit takes possession of one member of a group of cowboys who disturbed a sacred Indian burial ground. Blood Trail. Horror and Western, so this takes place in the Old West. I love horror films in the Old West. Blood Rain. In the 18th century, a vampire escapes from the freak show in which she once participated and teams up with a group of vampire slayers to kill the man who raped her mother. So a vampire is going to get revenge. Bloodsuckers. Intergalactic vampire hunters Buffy meets Star Trek in a Mad Max world. Action, horror, and sci-fi. So if you like... Oh, this is made for TV. So if you like vampires and blood-sucking monsters, you'll love Bloodsuckers. Boo. Let me know what you thought of Boo. There are rumors that a long shut-down and neglected hospital is haunted by the inhabitants that died there in fire. 4 college students are about to discover that the myths might just be true. Boo. Boo. The Boogeyman. A young man tries to deal with the childhood terror that has never stopped haunting him. Boogeyman. Supernatural horror, drama, and thriller. The Boogeyman. Is that Michael Myers? No, but the name. The Boogeyman. Chupacabra Terror. When cryptologist Dr. Peña traps the legendary Chupacabra on a remote Caribbean island, he smuggles it aboard a cruise ship with disastrous results. So obviously the Chupacabra is going to escape and kill and eat people. You watch. The Unknown. I love it, The Unknown. When a group of poachers are found dead in the deep forest of the Pacific Northwest, a mob of revenge-hungry hunters pursue the beast while 4 high school seniors try to save it. The Unknown. Doesn't that poster look like Saw? It looked like Saw, didn't it? Constantine. I love Constantine. Detective Angela approaches Constantine, a demon hunter, to help her investigate her twin sister's mysterious death. As he digs deeper, he realizes that demons are trying to enter the human world. Constantine. You'll love it. Creature from the Hillbilly Lagoon. A group of college students run afoul of not only a passel of insane, inbred rednecks, but also of a humanoid fish monster bent on making chum of them all. So a fish wants to eat people. Cruel World. Reeling from his dismissal from a reality show, a deranged runner-up holds a group of co-eds hostage on the set of his own fictitious show, where losers suffer a deadly fate. I love it. I love it. I love it. Cry Wolf. 8 unsuspecting high school seniors at a posh boarding school who delight themselves on playing games of lies come face to face with terror and learn that nobody believes a liar, even when they're telling the truth. Cry Wolf. You'll love Cry Wolf. Curandero. A journey that takes one man into the bowels of black magic in Mexico City. Curandero. Horror. Robert Rodriguez presents Curandero. Next thing we have is Cursed. A werewolf loose in Los Angeles changes the lives of 3 young adults who, after being mauled by the beast, learn they must kill it in order to avoid becoming werewolves themselves. Cursed, featuring Christina Ricci and Jesse Eisenberg. Dark Remains, when the daughter Emma of the technical writer Alan Pike and the photographer Julie is found slashed in the throat and wrists in their locked apartment. The couple decides to move to an isolated cabin in the mountains to escape persecution. Dark Water, a mother and daughter still wounded from a bitter custody dispute hole up in a run-down apartment building where they are targeted by the ghost of a former resident. Supernatural horror drama. This is very creepy and eerie. It's good. Dark Water. Day of the Dead 2. Contagion. In 1968, the military levels a facility after a lethal bacteria is released. In present day, a patient on an outgoing from a mental institution finds an old vacuum tube, which when it's opened, releases the bacteria. dead at the box office. After finding a mysterious film reel hidden in their ceiling, the well-meaning staff of a struggling movie theater assumed that the film is an old B-movie preview trailer and played before a midnight screening of the timeless Romero. Dead Men Walking. After killing 4 persons in his home with a shotgun, D. Travis claims that he had accidentally ingested an experimental biotoxin that the company Blackthorn, where he worked, was researching. Death to the Supermodels. This sexy comedy finds the world's greatest, most eccentric supermodels gathered on a deserted island with a swimsuit photo shoot from hell. Comedy and horror. Death Tunnel. For an initiation stunt, 5 college women are locked in a Kentucky hospital built in 1910, where 63,000 people died from a disease known as the White Plague. Death Tunnel. You'll love Death Tunnel. Check out Death Tunnel. Decadent Evil. Straight to video. A fallen-foot-tall homunculus called Marvin, part reptile, part creature, is imprisoned in a birdcage by a vengeful lover who is bidding to become the world's most powerful vampire. Decadent Evil. Demon Hunter. After resolving a situation of exorcism, the half-breed demon hunter, Jake, reports to Cardinal White, and they realize that the demon is impregnating many mortals to raise offspring. Demon Hunter. Desperate Souls. A group of teenagers unleashes an evil power from an ancient druidic book. Desperate Souls. B-horror, action, and horror. We love Desperate Souls. We love it. When I say we love it, that means you're going to love it too, okay? The Devil's Rejects. Everybody loves the Devil's Rejects. The murderous backwoods Firefly family take to the road to escape the vengeful Sheriff Whittle, who is not afraid of being as ruthless as his target. The Devil's Rejects will not disappoint. Splatter horror. Devour revolves around a character named Jake Gray and his friends that have been playing a deadly game called The Pathway, which eventually spirals out of control and threatens a worldwide epidemic of violence. Die, you zombie bastards. Thrill to the mayhem that ensues when ever-lovable serial killer Red Tool sets off on a globe-trotting quest in search of his missing wife, the lovely Violet. Comedy, fantasy, horror, and sci-fi. Die, you zombie bastards. Die. Die, Zombie Jaeger. A trio of elite German commandos takes on the toughest assignment of their lives. What is turning the residents of Gothenburg, Sweden into bloodthirsty zombies who have transformed the entire city into a scene of carnage? Doll Graveyard. In 1911, abusive father buries daughter Sophia and her dolls after accidentally killing her. 100 years later, bullied teens now new home awakens Sophia's spirit, possessing the dolls that avenge him. We love it. Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, prequel. Decades before Father Merrin helped save Reagan's soul, he first encounters the demon Pazao in Kenya. Merrin's initial battle with Pazao leads to the rediscovery of his faith. Dominion. Doom. Everybody loves Doom. Space Marines are sent to investigate strange events at a research facility on Mars, but find themselves at the mercy of genetically enhancing killing machines. Doom. Right, next we have Dracula 3 Legacy. We love Dracula 3 Legacy. In the near future, Luke travels to the remote reaches of war-torn Romania to rescue Elizabeth and finish the vampire once and for all. I love this movie. This is very gory and graphic. It's fun. They're fun movies. Dreams in the Witch House. A graduate student questions his sanity after he rents a room in an old boarding house which was the residence of a 17th century witch, and he discovers that the evil forces still roam within the walls. Made for TV. Evil Aliens. A TV crew desperate to boost ratings arrive on a remote Welsh farming island to investigate an intriguing incident. A local girl and her boyfriend have been abducted by aliens, who also impregnated her. Evil Aliens. Evil Eyes. A screenwriter is plagued by nightmares as he writes a script about a family that was slaughtered years before. Soon the grisly murders he's writing about actually start to happen. Evil Eyes. We love evil eyes. Evil words. In Montreal, on the same day that the policeman shot 11 children, killing 10 without any reason, the successful writer amputates his fingers and tries to commit suicide. Evil words. Action, drama, horror, and thriller. Tokako, evil. An evil force is awakened in downtown Athens, transforming the unsuspecting citizens into raving zombies. The few survivors will have to fight hard for their lives, to the death. Evil City. Reporters uncover the dark secret behind Acheron, a shadowy town whose inhabitants have mysteriously died. Evil City. Action, horror, and thriller. Welcome to Evil City. Last exit. Feast. Patrons locked inside a bar are forced to fight monsters. This movie is good. It was recently on Netflix, I think, or Primetime. It's really good. Dark comedy and horror. Very graphic and horror. I love it. Feast. You'll love it. Feed. A cybercrime investigator tracks a man suspected of force-feeding women to death. Body horror, crime, horror, and thriller. One of the sickest films I have ever seen. So I guess you just feed them and feed them and feed them till they die. Filthy McNastiest Apocalypse Fuck. The demonic Dargantang grants Cavalier's desire to satisfy his lover in one area where he's coming up short, with hilariously over-the-top consequences. Straight to video. Forest of the Damned. A group of friends go on a road trip and come to a stop in a forest where legend has it a group of naked bisexual female monsters lurk. Will they awaken them? And if so, who will survive? Forest of the Damned. Fragile. At her new job in a rundown children's hospital, a nurse desperately tries to keep her patients safe from a plague of random, mysterious attacks. Fragile. Frankenstein Reborn. In this horrifying modern retelling of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, a neurosurgeon obsessed with the reanimation of dead flesh murders his patients and resurrects the corpse. Isn't that creepy? He's going to kill his patients to make a new corpse. Frankenstein versus the creature from the Blood Cove. Mad scientists have resurrected Frankenstein's monster and also created a half-man, half-fish creature. So now they want the creature to fight Frankenstein? Seriously? Seriously? Is that where we're going? Seriously? Glass Trap. When an army of radioactive ants are unknowingly carted into a skyscraper, a group of people have to find a way out before they're eaten one by one. Glass Trap. Pretty gory, huh? Gypsy Vampire. Know what this is about? Be the first to add a plot. This was straight to video. So this is about vampires who turn their victims into gypsies. And then we got gypsy vampires. That's what this is about. H6. Diario de un Asesino. Diary of a Madman. Antonio Frau was formerly a convicted killer who, while having an active sex life with his buxom wife, also cheats on him with other older doctors. H6. Hammerhead. A scientist tries to save his son from cancer, but his experiments turn him into a shark man instead. A group of people from a pharmaceutical corporation are sent to the Mad Doctor's island to investigate his activities. Hammerhead. Headspace. After an encounter with a mysterious stranger, a man finds his intellect rapidly expanding. As the power of his mind grows, so does mystery of a series of brutal murders. So he's going to become a little genius. Isn't that cool? Right. Hellraiser. Hellworld. Gamers playing a MMORPG based on the Hellraiser films find their lives endangered after being invited to a rave, the host of which intends to show them the truth behind the Cenobite myths. We love Cenobites. We love the Cenobites. Hide and Seek. As a widower tries to piece together his life in the wake of his wife's suicide, his daughter finds solace, at first, in her imaginary friend. Hide and Seek. Come out wherever you are. Homecoming. When memories of her dead grandma are unearthed during a candlelit night of drinking, Katie gets trapped with her friends in an old house, left wondering who will survive the night. Homecoming, otherwise known as Blood Deep. Hood of the Living Dead, straight to video. Ricky is promising young scientist whose experimental formula regenerates dying cells. Hood, Living Dead. Isn't that cool? Hood of the Living Dead. So, an all-black cast right there. Hostel. We love Hostel. 3 backpackers head to a Slovak city that promises to meet their hedonistic expectations with no idea of the hell that awaits them. This movie was so gory and graphic at the time. I love it. I need to rewatch it. House of the Dead 2. Dark comedy. A virus breaks out at a university and people start to become zombies. After 29 days, a team of AMS scientists and soldiers are sent in to deal with the problem. But while they search, things go wrong. House of Wax. I love House of Wax. A group of teens are unwittingly stranded near a strange wax museum, and soon must fight to survive and keep from becoming the next exhibit. We love the House of Wax. We love it. We love it. Ice Queen. A plane carrying a frozen creature crashes into a ski resort, causing an avalanche and trapping the guests. It's a fight for survival as the awakened creature goes on a blood rampage through the lodge. We love Ice Queen. We love her. We love her. Incident on and off a mountain road. While driving at night along a lonely road through the mountains, Ellen gets distracted by her radio and hits a car parked on the road. She faints and looks for help since her car does not start again. She meets Moonface pulling a woman into the woods. Infestation. Straight to video. The not too distant future, a deadly virus has swept across Earth. Billions perished. The survivors moved underground. 30 years on the plague island. They start to die one by one. Insecticidal. Entomology student Cammy researches insects at her sorority house. Her sister Josie uses insecticide, causing insects to mutate and grow, trapping them. Insecticidal. Horror and thriller. Intermedio. A group of 4 teenage friends become trapped in a Mexican border tunnel where they fall prey, one by one, to tortured ghosts who haunt it. Intermedio. Isolation. On a remote Irish farm, 5 people become unwitting participants in an experiment that goes nightmarishly wrong. Isolation. Horror, sci-fi, and thriller. Alright, this movie I love. It waits. We love It Waits. A lone female park ranger tries to track down a vicious creature, killing various people and terrorizing her at a remote national park. It waits. Look at those teeth. Look at those teeth. Show us your teeth. Jacqueline Hyde. Jackie, a lonely and shy telemarketer in her late 20s, gets a phone call informing her that her grandfather has just passed away, leaving her the secret formula to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's what this is about. Jolly Roger, Massacre at Cutter's Cove. We love Jolly Roger. A group of friends unleash a demonic pirate from a treasure chest. You know what's going to happen. The kids are goofing off and the pirate's going to come after them. You know what's going to happen. Komodo versus Cobra. While attempting to find research facility on an island, a group of activists discover 2 giant creatures that have escaped the facility. Komodo versus Cobra. Remember Python versus Boa? Here's Komodo versus Cobra. Land of the Dead. The living dead have taken over the world, and the last humans lived in a walled city to protect themselves as they come grips with the situation. Land of the Dead. Next up we have is Larva. In Host, Missouri, the newcomer vet, Dr. Eli, is called by a farmer to look at one of his cows. The vet finds a strange parasite in the animal and sends it to the agricultural lab to be looked into. Horror begins to show his face, and the killing starts. The League of Gentlemen's Apocalypse. The notorious fictional town of Royston Vasey is under the threat, and its inhabitants are forced to leave. The League of Gentlemen's Apocalypse. Dark comedy, fantasy, and horror. Legion of the Dead. The ancient Egyptian high priestess Anetet awakens from her 4,000-year sleep to rule the world. This was straight to video, okay? Coming off the backs of the mummy. This is the female mummy. Locust, the 8th plague. Top secret lab experiments have resulted in genetically engineered locusts that devour the flesh from any human in their path. When the swarm escapes, a determined researcher heads a team to stop the menace before it consumes the world. Long distance. A young woman accidentally dials the number of a serial killer who decides to make her his next victim. Isn't that creepy? She calls the wrong guy and the guy is a killer. Gonna go kill her. Man-Thing. Agents of an oil tycoon vanish while exploring a swamp marked for drilling. The local sheriff investigates and faces a seminal legend come to life. Man-Thing. Superhero action, adventure, and horror. Manticore. In war-torn Iraq, rugged army soldiers learn that the battles they face every day have only been a warm-up to the unspeakable terror awaiting them. Manticore. Manticore. Made for TV. Dance of the Dead. In a post-apocalyptic society, 17-year-old Peggy lives with her mom, who's overprotective since her young daughter Anna died. Dance of the Dead. This was made for TV. Mosquito. A scientist and her subject turn into mutant insects. Isn't that creepy? Mosquito. Horror and sci-fi. Mosquito Man. That's what it's called. Mosquito or Mosquito Man? Monster Man. Two guys and a female hitchhiker are terrorized by a monstrous-looking man driving a giant monster truck. Monster Man. Adventure, comedy, horror, and thriller. We love Monster Man. Mortuary. Pretty creepy. A family moves to a small town in California with a plan on starting a new life while renting a long-abandoned funeral home. The locals fear the place, which is suspected to be a haunted ground. Mortuary. Haunted horror mystery. Nightmare. A director is forced to make a movie chronicling the horrific murders he believes he is committing. Isn't that creepy? Nightmare. I'm the Nightmare Man. Remember Halloween 4? It was a Nightmare Man. Alright, One Missed Call. I love these movies. They're so creepy. One Missed Call. A Japanese restaurant cook owner dies after answering his daughter's cell phone. Other people are getting strange same ringtones calls as well as dying painfully. It happened in Taiwan as well. Can the police stop it if it's a ghost? 1.0. After receiving mysterious empty packages inside his apartment, a young computer programmer begins a personal investigation into their origins. 1.0. It's got a life of its own. Pony Trouble. A story about a bunch of young adults who take their plastic pony obsessions way too far and end up killing people, eating their flesh. Comedy and horror. Pony Trouble. Pony Trouble. Pot zombies. We love pot zombies. Radioactive weed turns people into zombies with the munchies for human flesh. You can imagine what a hypersonic beam will do to human flesh. Comedy and horror. The Prophecy Uprising. A young theology student comes into possession of an ancient book of prophecies that stands at the center of a bloody battle on earth between good angels and evil angels. The Prophecy Uprising. Thesaurus. A dormant volcano deep within the Turkish forest holds a deadly secret. Perfectly preserved, a nest of pterodactyl eggs are ready to hatch. How spooky is that? Pterodactyl. Ugh. Razor teeth, excuse me. This was straight to video. People full of problems, a lake full of piranha. Razor teeth. I love piranha, and we love razor teeth. The Red Shoes. A woman stumbles upon a pair of pink high heels while walking down a subway platform. She picks them up and takes them home only to find out that they are cursed and can ruin her life. The Red Shoes. Isn't that pretty cool? Reeker. Strangers trapped at an eerie travel oasis in the desert must unravel the mystery behind their visions of dying people while they are preyed upon by decaying creature. Reeker. Return of the Living Dead Necropolis. A group of teenagers, in an attempt to rescue their friends from an evil corporation, end up inadvertently releasing a horde of bloodthirsty zombies. Return of the Living Dead. Alright. The Ring 2. Another great movie. 6 months after the incidents involving the lethal videotape, new clues prove that there is a new evil lurking in the darkness. The Ring 2. I need to rewatch those. I saw these movies when they first came out. The Ring and The Ring 2. And I know what it's about, but I just forget the movie. Sam's Lake. As she does every summer, Sam takes a group of friends to accompany her on a retreat to the cottage she grew up in. This year's trip is different. People die one by one at Sam's Lake. Santa's Sleigh. We love Santa's Sleigh. Santa Claus is actually a demon who lost a bet with an angel, so he becomes the giver of toys and happiness. But when the bet is off, he returns to his evil ways. We love Santa's Sleigh. We love it. Satan's Playground. Satan's Playground is a chiller with a vacationing family lost in the woods and the Jersey Devil lurking in the Pine Barrens. We love it. We love it. Saw 2. A detective and his team must rescue 8 people trapped in a factory by a man known as Jigsaw. Splatter horror, horror, and mystery. Scared or Scarred. Local legends has it that a young woman roams the woods in search of a pretty face to replace the vacant hole where hers was brutally torn off. Scarred. Slasher horror. Pretty creepy, huh? Someone tried to steal your face? Severed. A group of young environmental activists become infected, ravenous, unstoppable zombies when a forestry company's genetic experimentation goes disastrously wrong. Shapeshifter. Guards and inmates in a maximum security prison have to fight for survival when they become trapped inside with demonic beasts that begins preying on them. Oh yeah, you can shift shapes. You can become a man, a woman, another inmate. You can be anybody you want to and then start killing people. Shockorama. 3 horror comic tales connected to a wraparound story involving a B-movie actress stalked by a bloodthirsty zombie. Zombie horror, fantasy, and horror. Side effects. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll will never be the same after a medieval sex drug makes a comeback on the college party scene. Side effects. Horror. Silent Scream. Set in the deep freeze of northern Michigan winter, when a group of college students volunteered to assist their psychology professor with his research, their weekend retreat turns into a nightmare. Silent Scream. The Skeleton Key. A hospice nurse working at a spooky New Orleans plantation home finds herself entangled in a mystery involving the house's dark past. The Skeleton Key. Skinwalker, Curse of the Shaman. When a small town curse apparently comes true, a college student studying mythology goes to uncover the secrets held within. Skinwalker, Curse of the Shaman. Slaughter Party. Porn legends Adam and Ron co-star with Felice in this gut-busting horror comedy about a crazed killer midget. Slaughter Party. Comedy and horror. Straight to video. Slaughterhouse of the Rising Sun. Plagued by different visions on the set of her latest film, Jennifer is forced to drop out of the spotlight and check into a mental institution. After being stranded in the desert following her release, Jennifer seeks shelter with a nomadic band of rebels. The Snake King. An object is found that points to the secret of eternal youth, so a research team is sent to find the fountain, only to find it's protected by a giant snake. The Snake King. Comedy, fantasy, horror, and sci-fi. Snuff movie. Boris is a horror filmmaker. His pregnant wife was brutally murdered by a Manson-like gang of hippie psychopaths during the 60s. He becomes a virtual recluse until he creates his own snuff movie. Snuff movie. Horror. Spirit Trap. 5 students unwittingly set off a spirit clock in a rundown London mansion. As the boundaries between fantasy and reality become blurred, the friends reveal their darkest secrets and begin to lapse into a haze of paranoia and violence. Spring Break Shark Attack. Killer sharks invade the waters off the Florida coast as co-eds celebrate spring break. This was a made-for-TV movie. I remember watching this in 2005. It was good. You should check it out. Stage fright. We love stage fright. There's nothing worse than dying on stage. Isn't that cool? Horror and thriller. There's nothing worse than dying on stage. We love stage fright. Look at the masks. Right, next thing we have is Still Life. A pill popping over-caffeinated driver accidentally hits something. Panic-stricken, he searches for help in a strange and desolate town that offers very little in the form of human kindness. Still Life. Stinger. The USS Newark has been lost at sea, carrying a top-secret cargo from an experimental military project. Finally, the submarine is discovered 60 miles off the coast of California. Stinger. We love Stinger. Stomp, Shout, Scream. Stomp, Shout, Scream. A beach party rock and roll monster movie is set in 1966 and features an all-girl garage rock band and the legend of the Skunk Ape, the Florida Everglades version of Bigfoot. So this is a remake. Svetloons, or Svetlonos, a twisted labyrinth metropolis, the machine that regulates the cycles of sunlight and darkness, breaks down, forcing a dangerous intervention. Swarmed. The residents of a small town find themselves battling a swarm of hornets, which has been sprayed by a super pesticide. We love Swarm. We love it. Trans-American Killer. After his girlfriend leaves him for a woman, a man has sex change and kills all of her girlfriends to win her back. The Trans-American Killer. Switch Killer. Isn't that creepy? This is 2005. This is 20 years ahead of its time. Tamara. We love Tamara. Tamara is an unattractive girl who is picked on by her peers, returns after her death as a sexy seductress, slut, bombshell, hooker type of girl. But Tamara is badass. The Brotherhood 4, The Complex. A student discovers that a military academy secret society hides a secret agenda as well as their devilish origins. The Brotherhood 4, The Complex. The Beast of Bray Road. Werewolf sightings in Walworth County, Wisconsin lead a sheriff to investigate a series of deaths caused by a creature with human and wolf DNA. The Beast of Bray Brood. Alright, what's next? The Booth. We love The Booth. Shogo, the arrogant and condescending star of a popular call-in radio show, must temporarily broadcast out of Studio 6, a creepy and dilapidated booth abandoned since his last DJ committed suicide. So that was pretty good, huh? The Descent. A caving expedition goes horribly wrong as the explorers become trapped and ultimately pursued by a strange breed of predators. The Descent was creepy and good. You'll love The Descent. They eat people, and they eat them. Right? The Fallen Ones. An archaeologist finds the mummified remains of a giant, the offspring of a fallen angel and a human woman. Now he has to stop the terror as he unleashed it. The Fallen Ones. This movie is creepy, supernatural horror. The Final Patient. A country doctor discovers the fountain of youth, but his curiosity is clouded by addiction, and the results are deadly. The Final Patient. I too can give you that. if you want. The Ginger Dead Man. An evil yet adorable gingerbread man comes to life with the evil soul of a convicted killer. This real-life cookie monster wreaks havoc on the girl who sent the killer to the electric chair. The Heirloom. A Taiwanese man returns to the island after years abroad, where he inherits a house. When he and his fiancée move in, strange things start to happen. The Heirloom. The Last Supper. Yuji has become a plastic surgeon to the rich and famous, almost overnight transforming himself from a nebbish to charismatic icon. The Last Supper. Drama, horror, mystery, and thriller. The Picture of Dorian Gray. I have not seen this movie, but I know the premise and I love it. A corrupt young man somehow keeps his youthful beauty, but a special painting gradually reveals his inner ugliness to all. So he paid the devil his soul to look youthful forever. The Pool 2. Know what this is about? Be the first to add a plot. This is about a pool that is possessed and starts killing people. Whoever enters the pool will slowly die at the hands of the pool. The Prophecy Forsaken. Young Allison continues to run from Satan's evil angels while hanging on to the secret or to the ancient lexicon that foretells the identity of the Antichrist. Joined by a hitman who has change of heart and comes to her aid. Rise of the Undead. The apocalypse has arrived. 7 strangers escape to a fiery blast and has engulfed the city. The Rise of the Dead. Or the Undead, rather. Right? The Shunned. After a family is murdered near a remote western town, a U.S. federal marshal is sent to investigate. The Shunned. Horror, thriller, and western. Alright, we're almost done here. The Shunned. Next up we have is The Slaughterhouse Massacre. Marty Sickle was accused of murdering a young girl inside the slaughterhouse where he lived. Soon after, 4 college kids brutally hung Marty in revenge. The Slaughterhouse Massacre. We love the Slaughterhouse Massacre. We love it. The Zodiac. An elusive serial killer known as the Zodiac terrorizes the San Francisco Bay in the late 1960s, while detectives aim to stop him before it claims more victims. Based on a true story, the Zodiac. The Cave. Bloodthirsty creatures await a pack of divers who become trapped in an underwater cave network. The Cave. Next up we have is The Dark Hours. A beautiful but burnt out psychiatrist goes to the family's winter cottage for a weekend with her husband and sister, which is interrupted when a terrifying and unexpected guest arrives, a violent sex offender and a patient of the doctor. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. A lawyer takes on a negligent homicide case involving a priest who performed an exorcism on a young girl. Supernatural horror, drama, and horror. The Fog. Supernatural horror. A thick mist full of vengeful spirits haunt a prosperous island town off the coast of Oregon, as its inhabitants try to learn their town's dark secret in order to stop it. That was creepy. It was good. The Jacket. A Gulf War veteran is wrongly sent to a mental institution for insane criminals, where he becomes the object of the doctor's experiments, and his life is completely affected by them. The Jacket. That was so sad. The Maid. Every year for 30 days during the lunar 7th month, the Chinese believe that the gates of hell are thrown open. Wrathful, vengeful spirits and hungry ghosts wander among the living. The Maid. The Mangler Reborn. A decade after the original massacre, another man obsessed over his machine ends with several murders and possession. Next up we have is The Nun. Years ago, a cruel and merciless nun turned boarding school into a living hell for her students and until they could no longer bear the abuse, and she mysteriously disappeared. Now the alumni are being brutally murdered one by one. The Roost, four friends marooned on a mysterious farm en route to a wedding, are terrorized by various creatures and zombies. The Roost, made for TV, supernatural horror. That was a good movie, The Roost. The Stink of Flesh. Wandering a zombie wasteland, Matul survives by his wits and animal instinct. He stinks of flesh. How do you lead an alternative lifestyle when everything's dead? The Stink of Flesh, made for video. Scary Hair. Sui, a patient with terminal cancer, gets a wig as a present from her sister. Strange things start to happen as Sui wears the wig, and horror starts to sweep over Ji-young as she watches her sister getting slowly possessed. The Cavern. In an Asian desert, a team of explorers learn of a newly discovered cave system, and set out to explore it. The Cavern. So if that's the bother for you, we'll just go ahead and get more. The Dark. In mourning over the tragic drowning of their daughter, Sarah, James and Adele are visited by Ebril, a young girl who claims she died 60 years ago and bears a startling resemblance to Sarah. The Dark. This movie was a scorcher. The Dark. Thralls. A young woman gets caught up in the plans of a coven of vampires fighting to free themselves from their master. Vampire horror and horror. This was straight to video. Look at the cover. Of course it was straight to video. Survival Island. 3 people, a rich couple and crew member, are shipwrecked on a tropical island, and their subsequent fight for survival becomes even tougher when they begin to turn on each other. We love it. Survival Island. You would love it. Okay, you would love it. Tomi Beginning. When a beautiful young girl transfers to a new high school, the students become possessed and soon realize that behind this beauty is an unexplainable evil. Tomi Beginning. We love evil. We love it. Tomi Revenge. A young woman named Kazu runs over a naked girl on a mountain road. When she stops to help, the girl runs out into an abandoned house into the middle of the woods. Alright, one of my favorite movies, Urban Legends, Bloody Mary. On a prom night dare, a trio of high school friends chant an incantation, unleashing an evil spirit from the past with deadly consequences. Urban Legends, Bloody Mary. Legends never die. Bloody Mary. Vampire Assassin. Martial arts Ron Stahl stars in this dark vampire thriller reminiscent of Blade. Action horror, straight to video. Vampire Assassin. Alright, next up we have is Vampire Bats. Freshman friends of the Tate University go to an underground party in the woods nearby the local cemetery. After a death, 2 of the students are arrested until a professor suggests the bats might be the real culprit. Vampires, The Turning. An American Muay Thai fighter in Thailand must join forces with a group of vampire hunters to track down and kill a vampire lord who has kidnapped his girlfriend. So of course he wants revenge. Venom. A group of teenagers fear for their lives in the swamps of Louisiana, chased by Mr. Jangles, a man possessed by 13 evil souls and now relentless in his pursuit of new victims. Venom. We love Venom. Voice. While practicing after hours in her high school, an aspiring singer is mysteriously killed as her body vanishes. Her invisible ghost is trapped in the school, but her best friend is able to hear her voice. Way of the Vampire. After defeating Dracula, Van Helsing is granted immortality by the church to pursue and eradicate vampires from the face of the earth. Action, horror, and thriller. Way of the Vampire. This is the way. Foray. One day when 4 young men wake up in the morning, they're all in a small room filled with the white powder, naked. Why are they gathered? Why are they naked? What's the white powder? Horror and thriller. Foray. White noise, supernatural horror, drama, and horror. An architect's desire to speak with his wife from beyond the grave becomes an obsession with supernatural repercussions. White noise. Right? Wild country. A group of friends are pursued by a sinister force after rescuing an abandoned girl. Wild country. Also released in 2005. Alright, we just have a few more left. And we're almost done with 2005. Told you there was a lot of films here. Within the Woods. Doesn't that look creepy? Within the Woods. Is the legendary clown back, or is one of the group willing to kill for the prize? Who said anything about escape? Within the Woods. Horror. Kind of looks like one of the circus clowns from Killer Clowns from Space. Wolf Creek. 3 backpackers stranded in the Australian outback are plunged inside a hellish nightmare of insufferable torture by a sadistic psychopathic local. This movie was good. It was very evil, but it was good. Worst horror movie ever made. A group of friends to get together for a card game, but within 5 minutes, most of them die from every conceivable horror movie monster villain, but with a new twist. Dark comedy, parody, horror, and thriller. The Zodiac, an elusive serial killer known as the Zodiac, terrorizes the San Francisco Bay in the late 60s, while detectives aim to stop him before he claims more victims, based on a true story. Zodiac. Zombie Nation. A psychotic police officer who murders his female arrestees gets what's coming to him when a horde of zombified women rise from their graves to seek revenge. Zombie Honeymoon. Zombie Honeymoon is a gore-soaked exploration of how far the boundaries of true love can be pushed without reaching a breaking point. And lastly, we have a straight-to-video film, Zombies, or Zombies, or Zombies. A woman finds herself on the run from the living dead. Her friends are being slaughtered and she can find no help. Will she survive, or will she too fall victim to the zombies? And there you go. Alright, those were all the horror films of 2005. Those were the best horror films of 2005. Now I'm sure you must have seen a lot of horror films in that year. Perhaps you remembered a lot of them. But I remember precisely in the early 2000s, pretty much from like 2000 to 2010, you had Hollywood Video, Blockbuster Video, other video stores where you can rent Hollywood Video, Blockbuster Video, Warehouse Video. You can just rent videos and go to your local video stores on weekends, weekdays. Rent up to 6 movies at a time. Buy your popcorn and candy right there. Some sodas and take it home and just enjoy movies on VHS. Soon they had them on DVD, but I still remember the VHS rentals, and those were a lot of fun. So those were the best horror films. Those were all the horror films that were released in 2005. Wasn't that a big list? I told you, from 2000 to 2010, the studios were just pumping movie after movie after movie. So 2005, though, was saturated, in a good way, with horror movies. Because remember when we started off with a few movies in the theaters? Maybe you get 4, maybe you get 7, maybe you get 15, and it got bigger and bigger. Well, a lot of these movies were made for cable was already in full swing. Still no streaming, but you had rentals, and then you had cable TV, and then you could have made for TV. So a lot of these films were on cable TV, like Sci-Fi Channel, or you can rent them on on DVD or VHS, or they'd be made for TV. Horror movies. Alright, I'm Tony. Thanks for joining me here. And again, stay tuned for the best horror films of 2006 coming very soon. Alright, thank you all. Hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to go revisit some of these movies because we can't forget these movies. Alright, someone's going to make these videos. And if anything, if I can just give you a nice list of like, hey, these movies are cool, check them out. These movies will not get lost. We won't let these movies get lost. Alright? Thanks for joining me. I'm Tony. I'll see you all in the next video, and it should be the best horror films of 2006. Alright, I'll see you all real soon. Bye.